The Young Turks remind me a lot of catching multiple STDs. You don't really know where they came from or how they got there, but they're ugly, disgusting, and just won't go away. Now, I've talked about the purgatory known as the Young Turks before, but I usually try to just ignore them. You know, despite their large following, they're actually pretty irrelevant and don't usually do anything that I find worth responding to. Until now. Similar to a crazy person spiraling into insanity, the Young Turks are spiraling into the abyss of stupidity, so dark, lonely, and poor, you'd think you were in Detroit. The Young Turks may have just hit their all-time low. The video we are responding to today is titled, Trump Goes After African American Congresswoman. Now, I actually want to start by looking at this title. This African American Congresswoman is actually Maxine Waters, the deranged liberal lunatic widely mocked by most sane people. But despite the fact that her name is very recognizable, they don't include it in the title. Instead, they refer to her as African American Congresswoman. Now, this may not seem like a very big deal, but it's actually extremely manipulative. By leaving out her name, they are suggesting this is some poor, irrelevant congresswoman. This gives the idea that Trump is attacking innocent, random, no-name African-American congresswomen, when in fact he is responding to Maxine Waters' criticism and her insane calls for his impeachment. And secondly, they reduce Maxine Waters to nothing more than her race and her gender. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone knows she's an African-American woman. We don't really need your identity politics here. So, yuck turds, you might want to do us all a favor and check your privilege before choosing your video titles. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's journey into hell.
Donald Trump was in Pennsylvania doing a rally for his re-election, which is strange because he's already president and the general election is about more than 2 years away.
Well, hello, Anna. I hope you're doing well. Actually, no doubt in my mind that you're doing much better than me. 10 seconds in the video and they are already incorrect. Anna is suggesting that it's strange for Trump to be campaigning for re-election, when in reality, it is not strange at all. According to the Washington Post, Trump isn't campaigning earlier than any recent presidents. He's just more upfront about it. Also, keep in mind this was written last February and is referring to a campaign rally he held a month after being elected, but the same logic still applies. According to these stats, Obama had the most public events in the first month of his presidency, and Trump had the same amount as Bush. The only real difference is that Trump explicitly called it a campaign event. So if it's normal for Trump to campaign a month into his presidency, it's completely acceptable for him to campaign for re-election a few years into his presidency. I know this might seem a little bit petty and like not that big of a deal, but you guys are a news channel, so I have no problem calling you out on anything and everything.
However, during his rally, he decided to go back to his same antics where he says terrible things about females that disagree with him on things.
Eesh, well, I'd accuse you of pulling the woman card, but then I'd be referring to your husband's credit card. Are you seriously this dumb? Are you really trying to make it seem like Trump is spending all his time attacking only women? Oh, the poor, weak, fragile women. Trump calls men and women out all the time, and there have been countless times where Trump bashes and attacks just men. So stop trying to play the victim and act like Trump only goes after women when that is simply not true. You clearly have no journalistic integrity.
So the latest example is Maxine Waters. Let's take a listen to what Trump had to say.
Maxine Waters, a very low IQ individual. You ever see her? It doesn't matter. We will impeach him. She's a low IQ individual. You can't help it. She really is.
The part of that video that actually bothers me the most is if you look behind him, there's a bunch of kids. Like there's this one really young boy behind him who's, you know, participating in this low IQ nonsense. And it's sad to me. I just don't think that that's something that kids should look at as a good example of how people should behave. But
oh, Anna, you have such a caring heart. I mean, the poor little boy hearing such horrific language, it's absolutely appalling. A young boy who hears explicit language every single day of his life he goes to school heard the president refer to someone as low IQ? Well, call the frickin' wambulance. Anna, you are a complete and total hypocrite, and I am so excited to expose you to my hundreds of thousands of viewers right now. Most people know this, but for the people who don't, every YouTube channel has demographics. You're able to look at your stats and see your channel's demographics down to age, country, gender, basically anything. Now remember everyone, Anna was really concerned about the poor little boy hearing such terrible, hurtful, and explicit language. But with some quick research, we can take a look at the Young Turks demographics. 81% of their viewers are male, and 2.1% are 13 to 17-year-old males. Now, this may not sound like much, but with some quick math, we find 2.1% of 3.7 million subscribers comes to about 74,000 young male viewers. Now, I know for a fact Anna has said much worse things about people than simply calling them low IQ.
Here's the thing. Affirmative action is not the reason why you failed in life. The reason why you failed in life is because you suck. Am I saying that I'm better than you? I guess I'm going a little further than you are. Yeah, I'm better than you, okay? Much better than you. Look, I don't think that you're a single issue voter. I just think you're dumb. I have no respect for women who voted for Trump, okay? I think you're dumb.
I just don't think that that's something that kids should look at as a good example of how people should behave.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself, bitch.
Well, look, I'm less worried about him being rude than I am at the great irony of Donald Trump calling anyone else low IQ.
Maxine Waters is low IQ. No, Trump is low IQ. Yeah, bravo, Cenk. Great argument. Really constructive argument going on here, buddy.
For a certifiable moron like Donald Trump to call anyone low IQ, let alone Maxine Waters, is both disturbing and, I gotta admit, hilarious.
Yeah, for you to call yourself a news channel is disturbing and hilarious, Cenk. But seriously, that's an awesome choice of words. For Trump to call anyone low IQ is disturbing and hilarious. Again, you can't just refute Trump's claim that Maxine Waters is low IQ by simply screaming that Trump is in fact the one with low IQ. And secondly, how on earth is it disturbing? Maybe you don't like it and maybe you don't agree with it, but try and chill out with your fear-mongering, bro. Trump is responding to an idiotic woman calling for his impeachment on no grounds. Alright? Cenk, this isn't any more disturbing than the things that go on in your bedroom after a night out at the gay bar.
Now, Maxine Waters did respond to the criticism. Let's take a look.
You know, this is typical of him. He is expert at name calling. He continued to attack Elizabeth Warren, Nancy Pelosi, maybe made some reference to Oprah Winfrey, on and on and on. And he seems that he's identifying and picking up more and more women that he's attacking.
All right, so here we have Maxine Waters herself, a massive critic of Trump, trying to pull the BS woman card. Here's a helpful little hint. If you need to use your gender as a shield for criticism, you deserve criticism. You claim Trump is picking up more women to attack, but this is such a flawed and dishonest thing to say. If we go ahead and do something that you probably have never done in your life, look at some actual data, we can see that as far back as 2016, Elizabeth Warren was tweeting rude things at Trump. So as far as my understanding goes, Warren was tweeting rude things about Trump first, and it wasn't until 2017 that he called her names. So let me get this straight, Maxine. Warren can bash Trump left and right, but the minute that Trump bashes her back, it's suddenly attacking women? You mentioned Nancy Pelosi. Again, back in 2016, she claimed Trump would never be president.
Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank.
Okay.
I guarantee it.
All right.
So Nancy can talk smack about Trump, but when he does the same thing, it's suddenly attacking women? And as far as him talking about Oprah, he simply said he knew her weakness if she were to run against him. I mean, are women suddenly off limits? I'm so confused here because I thought that women were strong, empowered females, but then they can't even take criticism from Trump after they criticized him first? And lastly, your female victim narrative is so entirely wrong. At the same rally where Trump called Maxine Waters low IQ, he also called Chuck Todd, a male, a sleeping son of a. Now, if you ask me, that's far worse than anything he said about the women at that same rally. But I guess it's only the women who are the poor, fragile, weak victims. Screw off.
But if some reason Mueller does not get him, Stormy will. This con man Don, is going to keep it up. And again, he come for me, I'm coming for him.
Oh, nice going, Maxine. You targeted Trump and claimed he would be impeached, all right? You went after him and he responded. Stop acting like Trump is suddenly targeting you out of the blue.
You mentioned the irony of him saying that she's low IQ. So we're gonna get to him in just a second, but the people behind him who are cheering him on as he says those things about Maxine Waters are holding signs that say drain the swamp. Drain the swamp to, a president who has Rex Tillerson, former CEO of ExxonMobil, sitting in there in his cabinet. Steve Mnuchin, Wall Street, banker in his cabinet. Oh yeah, good job draining the swamp. Let's really take a look at who lacks IQ. It's definitely not Maxine Waters.
My goodness, I thought it was bad when they cheaply screamed that Trump was the one with low IQ as some sort of rebuttal. Yet, now they're even going after the crowd? This literally has nothing to do with Trump, Maxine Waters, or your overall point. Plus, this doesn't really sound like a very good example of being low IQ. I mean, maybe if you were talking about people being gullible, it would have worked better. Either way, trying to roast the crowd as some sort of response to Trump's comment is absolutely ridiculous and such a stretch. I'm surprised you haven't pulled your freaking back out, Anna.
Look, you're not supposed to insult Republican voters because the mainstream media hates that. They think it's really, really rude.
Wait, what? Cenk, are you serious? Republican voters are mocked and targeted all the time. I'm not even saying the bashing or mocking of Republicans is not justified at times, but seriously, Cenk? I mean, we have CNN going up to Republican voters and harassing them on their front lawn about some Facebook event apparently being linked to the Russians. We have the View star claiming to be offended by Republicans and a party that backs a racist. Even Jimmy Kimmel had no issue bashing an openly Republican voting woman, Rosanna Barr.
You know, Trump. What? No, you're not getting in trouble. I think. Okay. Listen, you're expressing your views as crazy as they may be.
Not only that, but it is also completely socially acceptable to bash Republicans and Trump. You can take a look at what's being said on our college campuses, for example. This is more than mainstream media. This is mainstream as a whole.
On the other hand, for 40 years, they've been insulting liberals on the radio, on TV, nonstop, and nobody ever said that that's not acceptable. So let me just call out the crowd for who they are. They're the cast for the next Goonies that's being shot. If you just look through the crowd, okay?
I am in a great deal of pain right now. I mean, was that supposed to be like a roast or something? Cenk, you've been doing this Young Turks thing for like, what, 20 years? Come on, dude, surely, you could come up with a better roast than that, my friend. I mean, a decent roast sounds something like, what do political opinions and Cenk have in common? They're both on a spectrum.
Oh, I'm sorry, did your feelings get hurt? You went to an idiotic Donald Trump rally and you cheered at all the stupid things that he said, and I'm supposed to be polite to you?
Can someone tell me what on earth he is doing right now? I mean, where did this gigantic rant come from? No, Cenk, no one expects you to be polite to anyone. But you're also claiming these Trump supporters cheered for the idiotic things Trump said without even proving what Trump said was idiotic. Whether you agree with something or not does not determine if it's idiotic.
How many times have you said things about liberals? So there's a guy seeming to wear a turtleneck, but it's not a turtleneck. And I can go on and on about that cast over there. Like, oh, yeah, Maxine Waters is low IQ. Donnie's so smart. And that's why he's bankrupting companies is smarter than not bankrupting them. That's good business. That's what he told me.
I am seizing with disgust. What the hell are you talking about, Cenk? I mean, I'm glad you showed us how you behave when you're not on your medication, but what on earth is the point of all of this? I mean, I guess they're making fun of some guy who has a neck brace on at the Trump rally or something? He's also claiming that Trump declaring bankruptcy isn't smart, even though Trump claims it was smart. I mean, Cenk, according to Forbes, Trump did make bankruptcy work for him. And keep in mind, this is from 2011, before politics were involved, so this article seems pretty non-biased as well. Trump filed for only corporate bankruptcy. It was never him personally. And according to Michael Vendito, a bankruptcy lawyer, Chapter 11 is how you reshape and restructure a company that has problems. It doesn't indicate anything nefarious or even bad management. I mean, it seems seems to me that the professionals agree that Trump's decision to declare bankruptcy was the right decision to make. So Cenk, maybe you should get your facts straight before you try and mock Republicans and end up just making yourself look like a bigger idiot.
Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe they have a point. Let's take a look at how smart Donald Trump is.
They're going to take out clean coal, meaning they're taking out coal, they're going to clean it. Connor Lamb the sham, right? Lamb the sham. He's trying to act like a Republican, so he won't give me one vote. Look, I don't know him. Looks like a nice guy. I hear he's nice looking. I think I'm better looking than him. I do. And he's slightly younger than me.
All right, point for the goofy coal comment, but the clip you show next, how is Trump just making a funny joke any indicator of low IQ? You guys are reaching really hard here.
Nobody has more respect for women than I do. Nobody. Nobody has more respect.
Please, everybody. Donald Trump said the following about you, quote, "Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that? Can you imagine that, the face of our next president?"
So how on earth does a mean comment equal low IQ? Because, I mean, if you're going to base IQ on rude things people have said, you guys are totally screwed. I think they're also trying to suggest that Trump is stupid because he claims that he respects women. Then they show a clip of him saying things that aren't all that respectful towards women. Yet, the Young Turks are also defending Maxine Waters, who's basically done the same kind of thing.
I have not called for impeachment.
You said I'm going to fight every day until he's impeached. That's what you tweeted.
Yeah, but here's what I've said.
My greatest desire is to lead him right into impeachment. Impeach 45!
So I guess when Trump does it, it's proof that he's stupid and has low IQ. But when Maxine Waters does it, well, don't disrespect women.
An unbelievably complex subject. Nobody knew that healthcare could be so complicated.
Well, Rosie O'Donnell's disgusting. I mean, both inside and out. You take a look at her, she's a slob. She talks like a truck driver.
So healthcare is complicated? I mean, again, it just sounds like he's being real and honest with people, and then you show yet another rude comment. Still not very good sign of low IQ.
Your father's Herman?
Herman, sorry, yes, sir.
Yes.
Well, your father, Herman, is looking down. He's very proud of you right now.
He's still alive.
Oh, he is? Well, then he's even more proud of you. Then he's even more proud.
Wow, Trump made an awkward mistake and reconciled it the very best he could. Haha, what a low IQ individual. Do the Young Turks even know what low IQ means? Or maybe their IQs are just too low for that.
So we don't make mistakes. Go ahead, Ken.
Chuck Canterbury, the National President of Fraternal Order of Police from South Carolina.
We don't make mistakes. Go ahead, Ken. Chuck here.
I mean, guys, get this. The president, who's in meetings all day, every day, got someone's name wrong. I mean, Trump made a mistake that every single human being makes at least once in their lifetime? What a low IQ individual!
That is our high IQ president.
Well, to be fair, though, Trump did say,
You know, I'm like a smart person.
guys, the minute you knew that Donald Trump came into the room screaming how he's a smart person or like a smart person, we just now said over and over again, he even wrote it in a tweet and screamed in a tweet, "I'm a very stable genius." You should have thought, he thinks he doth protest too much. Perhaps he's the one with the IQ issues.
And this, my friends, is where we end the video, and this is such a weak and lame point. They're basically trying to suggest that just if someone says something about themselves, it must not be true. Liberals try to pull this little shenanigan all the time, and it usually goes something like this. First, some liberal media says, Trump is not mentally sound. He is stupid and an idiot. Then Trump responds accordingly, I'm smart. I'm a very stable genius. And then liberals reply, Trump said he's a stable genius, everybody. If you have to say you're smart, you're probably not smart. Even though they're the ones that created the whole argument and Trump is just responding. It's a super weak tactic to try and claim that because Trump had to say something, he must be lying. Especially when Trump has to say stuff, it's usually him defending himself from the lies the liberal media started. So what we've learned today, in short, is that the Young Turks are willing to hit new lows to try and push their faulty narrative. This is probably the biggest insult I can give, but to the yuck turds, I would watch CNN before I watched you guys. Please give this video a like, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all for watching. Unlike Muslims, peace.